Hello there and welcome. This is the Disability Law Show. Welcome back. Good to have you along for the ride this week. We got 30 minutes to educate you even further about disability rights and dealing with that insurance company. John Scholes here, Sivan Tumarkin right next to me, disability lawyer. Of course, you want to reach out to Sivan anytime. Always encouraged to do so. Don't sit and wonder. Don't use Google. It's the worst place you can go. Call the number 1-855-821-5900. Consultations are free, so pick up a phone, call Sivan and his team. Back it up with an email, right? help@disabilityrights.ca. We'll get to some other ways you can contact Sivan and his team throughout the half hour. But as always, a busy show. We got audio questions, we got email questions. A main topic this week, 3 signs your insurer is preparing to deny your disability claim. We'll do that in the second segment as always. Sivan, get us rolling here, pal. Week that was. What do you got for me?
John, one of the most common questions I get, both when people call me, leave me messages, email me, is here's what I'm experiencing. Will this qualify me for long-term disability? And my answer is always the same. I don't care what it is. If you are unable to do your job, to perform the essential tasks of your occupation as a result of whatever it is you are suffering from, then the insurance company should approve you. Again, so long as your doctors confirm that in fact you're unable to work because of those symptoms. And the number one constellation of symptoms that I get asked about have to do with mental health. I know it's not going to come as a surprise to people, especially after COVID and everything else that's happening, all the stuff that's happening in the world. Look, people are much more stressed than they were. People are much more anxious than they were, depressed. I'm not a psychologist. I can't explain why. I have theories, but I can't explain why. But here's what I can tell you. If you're experiencing any host of symptoms that disable you from working, meaning that you cannot perform the tasks of your employment, you should be able to apply for long-term disability, short or long-term disability, and you should be approved. But insurance companies, of course, as we know, oftentimes do not approve individuals, even though when they should be approving them. And so people say, well, I thought you said on TV and on radio that I'm entitled to this. Well, yes, you are. You absolutely are. It's in black and white. You are. But insurance companies are playing a game. What is the game they're playing? They're playing a numbers game. They understand, and I don't know what the statistics are, by the way, because they won't release those.
No.
But for every X amount of denials and continued denials, they'll have some people giving up. So imagine, let's say that one claim is worth, on average, I'm just going to throw a number, $250,000 to the insurance company in benefits. If they're able to deny 100 people and 10 people give up, I think it's a much higher number, but let's say 10 people give up, what's 10 times 250? They just saved themselves $2.5 million, these insurance companies. This is money that's owed to you. And so this is why I'm saying, you don't need to ask me, would your condition or set of conditions allow you to get long-term disability? If you cannot work because of whatever symptoms you're experiencing, apply for LTD. If LTD denies your claim, if your insurance company denies your claim, come to me immediately. Call me, email me. It will cost you nothing to get the information from me, the advice that I can give you, literally within minutes, John. It doesn't take us a long time, us lawyers, my team and I, to look at your documentation, to look at the denial letter, to look at the medical documentation, to speak with you, and to tell you really quickly if the insurance company is correct or not in denying your claim. And in the vast majority of cases, when people call me, they're calling me because it's legit. They are disabled. And so I can tell you we can help you if that happens. So please, mental health, physical injuries, anything that disables you from working, if you apply and you get denied, give me a call or email me immediately. Let us help you, at least give you the information you need to make informed decisions on how to proceed.
You mentioned the number of people that just give up, and that number is way too high because they have yet to reach out to you guys at the firm. But they often say, being disabled is one thing. They said, I'm not disabled, but they said, I'm not totally disabled.
Yeah.
So I gave up because I'm not in a bed, I'm not in a wheelchair, I'm not a quadriplegic. I can feed myself and go to the washroom. I just can't do my job. My doctor says I can't do my job. So what is this piece about being totally disabled?
That's a fantastic question, John. Again, something that we get often. And in fact, sometimes, unfortunately, doctors are making the mistake of telling their patients, no, you're not going to get disability coverage because you're not totally disabled, and that's what the policy requires. No. Total disability is a phrase that was coined by insurance companies. It is a phrase that works for insurance companies, and it's a phrase that is misunderstood by ordinary people. All it means, it doesn't mean you're brain dead. It doesn't mean that you are paralyzed. It doesn't mean any of that. All it means is that you cannot perform the essential tasks of your own occupation for the first 2 years, Beyond that, it's any occupation for which you're suited for. So again, total disability, the word total doesn't mean total in the classic way, in the ordinary vocabulary way. It doesn't mean I totaled my car, so my car, is undrivable. No. Totally disabled only means really that you cannot do your job. You cannot perform the tasks of your employment. And if that's the case, if because of your depression, if because of your injury, because of your illness, you cannot do your job as you did before, well then guess what? You should get those benefits. Particularly if your doctor says, yes, this person needs to be off work, needs to get treatments, is unable to do their job at this point in time. But insurance company will routinely deny these kinds of claims, and people will routinely accept those denials and simply walk away. And they'll look at lawyers out there advertising and saying, yeah, these lawyers are ambulance chasers. Well, yeah, some lawyers are. I mean, we're giving this information for free here, John, but the reality is you have rights. That's what I'm saying. You have rights. Insurance companies, their way of making money is collecting premiums and not paying you when they should. That's how they make their money. You need to put a stop to it when it comes to your case, at least initially. You need to make sure that if there are benefits that are owed to you, that you know that are owed to you, or if somebody else in your life, family member, a friend, a colleague, is dealing with a situation with an insurance company and they're denying their claim illegitimately, unjustly, illegally, we can help you get that money from the insurance company. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You're letting the insurance company keep money that's owed to you. But we're telling you, you have options.
So based on your quick criteria, totally disabled, I'm a mechanic or I'm a concert pianist, I grab a hot pot, I burn both of my hands. According to that, I'm actually totally disabled because I cannot do the functions of my own job. I'm still walking and talking.
You got it.
But it works.
You got it. And I'll even put it even more starkly. Concert pianist, an orthopedic surgeon. Again, give you just an example here. Let's say you injured one finger, and because of that, you can't do the surgery, or you can't play the violin or whatever it is you're playing. But you can do anything else. You can run a marathon. No. Right. For the purposes of your disability policy, you are totally disabled from performing the essential tasks of your occupation. Wow. So you're right, yes. But most people, again, don't understand that. Most people assume that they're not totally disabled because they look at the word totally in an ordinary way. That's not what that word means in the sense of an insurance policy. PocketDisabilityLawyer.ca. What is that all about? So it's a website we created a few years back, and it's a website to allow people to get answers to their questions, more pressing questions when it comes to disability, short and long-term disability. You know, most people out there, John, they'll Google their questions. I Google my questions when it comes to various things. We do this out of habit. We now have AI features on Google and ChatGPT, etc. But you want to make sure that the information you're getting when it comes to your disability questions, disability coverage, insurance company, you want to make sure those questions are, the answers are relevant, they're accurate, and you know that they're not out of date. And the reality is there's different laws in different jurisdictions. Some websites from where AI is pulling information may be incomplete or incorrect. So again, the website that you had mentioned, PocketDisabilityLawyer.ca, something we created, has its own algorithm, drop-down menus, it's quick, it's anonymous, it costs nothing, and you can get the answers to your questions without even calling us. Before we get into our first break momentarily, I think we got time for a viewer phone call, so let's listen into that.
I know a lot of the time people seeking these benefits are in a financial hardship to begin with. What does a person do if they find themselves in a position where they can't afford legal representation? As you highly encourage to seek punitive damages over insurance companies' failure to recognize that can't work. So can you explain that to me, please?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. It's a question, again, that we get a lot. Look, there are three options that you have if you are denied your long-term disability claim. Your first option is to do nothing. That's a horrible option, all right? If you're denied and you're doing nothing about it and you're owed money, all you're doing is giving the insurance company your money, right? You're letting them keep it, essentially. And remember, you have a limitation period here. You got 2 years from the date of your first denial to start a claim against them to get that money back. So, first option, do nothing. Second option, appeal that denial, okay? My lips are burning as I say the word appeal. I am not in favor of appeals. I've seen people appeal over and over and over and get rejected over and over and over, and then they give up, okay? The third option is to contact us and let us do what we do best, which is go after insurance companies, go after them where it hurts. We know where the pressure points are. We know how to advocate for you. We know how the legal system works. We know how to make it very expensive for them. I would say sometimes even too expensive for them to fight these claims, legitimate claims, Okay, I want to emphasize that. So, you do have that option. Now, people are saying, but I can't afford a lawyer. It doesn't cost anything to talk to us, number one. Secondly, if I tell you you have a case, much like a real estate agent does, I am not going to charge you anything up front. If I'm able to recover anything for you, it's going to be a percentage of whatever it is we recover. Okay? So if I recover $0 for you, if I'm wrong, well, I spent a lot of time, basically on a hamster wheel. But the reality is, I know what I'm doing. My team knows what it's doing. You're not going to pay anything unless we're able to recover for you. So there's no money up front. That's my point. There's literally no reason for you to be hesitant in going after the insurance company and letting us fight for you to make sure you get the benefits you deserve. No, there's no upfront fees, John. Certainly there's nothing you have to pay to get the information from us, to speak with us, myself, my team. Again, we do this each and every day.
3 signs your insurance company is preparing to deny your disability claim. That is on the other side of our break. We'll get to that and return with more of the Disability Law Show. Hang in there.
People think you should go to the government to get severance pay. EmploymentLawyer.ca says that is a myth. Government can only help you get minimum severance, but not everything you're entitled to. Always check with the employment lawyer first at EmploymentLawyer.ca. If your long-term disability claim is denied, should you appeal?
Appeals often fail because insurance companies control the process. So long as you appeal, you're playing by their rules.
You should never appeal the denial of your disability benefits. Appeals are just a mirage of false hope.
Don't. That's their process. Take it out of their hands and fight for your rights with our help.
Go to disabilityrights.ca. Discover your rights, fight back, and get what you're owed. People think their employer can make changes to their job. EmploymentLawyer.ca says that is a myth. Your employer can't change your pay, hours, or duties. You may be entitled to full severance pay. Always check with the employment lawyer first at EmploymentLawyer.ca.
Alrighty, welcome back. This is the Disability Law Show. Thank you for sticking around through that short break. John Scholes here. Sivan Tumarkin, always reachable, disability lawyer. Give him a call. Give his team a call. 1-855-821-5900. Consultation won't cost you a thing. So use the phone. Back it up with the email help@disabilityrights.ca. It is this time of the show every week where we give you a main topic. It's always informative, educational, and necessary for sure. This week it is 3 signs your insurer is preparing to deny your disability claim. Number 1. Sivan, they keep asking for more paperwork, endless updates. We're talking forms, medical records, and quite often, most often, have nothing to do with your condition. That's irritating.
Yeah, they do this a lot, and people get very aggravated. And people, I find most of the time, are reasonable, and they're willing to play ball with the insurance company. I think what happens is that at some point, the insurance company or the adjuster that's handling a person's case is just becoming very intrusive. They ask for updates too frequently. I've seen one time where the person was asking it every week, which is just ridiculous. And especially there was a chronic condition, nothing was changing. Look, the insurance company is document heavy, they're document based. They need to understand what your condition is on an ongoing basis, but that does not give them an unlimited right, an intrusiveness that is simply not supported by the policy. But if they continue to ask you for documentation and then start digging around and asking you for things that are completely unrelated, sometimes it's because they're trying to find anything in your medical records that they can latch onto to potentially then say to you, well, look, we saw you talking to your, dermatologist last week, and you said everything was fine. Even though you're suffering from chronic back pains, right? So, everything was fine with respect to your dermatological needs. But my point is, insurance companies will then cherry pick information from the documentation that they are given, and they will use that against you. And so you need to be cognizant of that. Whether or not you deny that request, if they're asking for certain documents and you say, I don't want to give it to you, you got to be careful with that, which is why we tell people, contact us, speak with us, myself, member of my team, we can tell you, again, for free, if the insurance company's request or behavior is reasonable. But yeah, you have to be careful. And John, we start off by saying 3 signs that your insurance company is preparing to deny your disability claim. And we're going to go through the other things. But I want to make sure people understand, insurance companies do a lot of things in preparation for cutting you off. your disability benefits. And I think it's really, really important to understand that everybody has a spidey sense. And if you are sensing something is wrong, if something doesn't seem correct or right, give us a call. We have seen all these signs before. We have seen so many different scenarios before. We'll be able to tell you, no, this is normal, this is routine, or, yeah, we should do something about this, or here's how you should act next time they ask so-and-so. So, something that I want to just put out there, that even if you're not cut off, but you have questions because you're concerned that they may stop your benefits, but they haven't already, give us a call. Let's hash this out. Let's talk about your claim. Let's make sure that you are calm, you understand what your options are, you understand the playing field, and you'll feel more empowered that way. That's really the key thing here, John.
Your insurance company preparing to cut you off, possibly. Denial. Sign number 2 is this: you're being watched. Private investigators, which I know gives people a lot of stress. Social media checks, surveillance, all that stuff wrapped up, right?
They absolutely. Insurance companies will sometimes hire investigators which are not so good. And some of these investigators, you can spot them a mile away. Sometimes you won't be able to. Sometimes you'll think somebody's, surveying you, but they're not really. It's just in your imagination. But again, it's a spidey sense thing. You're sensing something is wrong. Yeah. In which case, I would tell you, reach out to us so we can have that conversation, so we can help you and work through it. But certainly, if you are being surveyed, if they've hired somebody to look at you, then they've marked your file. Then they're not trusting what you're saying, or they think that maybe they can get something on you, some dirt, maybe social media postings where you're saying that you went to some party and you had a great time. Well, how can you be disabled if you've gone to some party? I mean, like those two things are mutually exclusive. But certainly, if they have surveillance on you, or if you're sensing that somebody's watching you, there's a very strong possibility the insurance company is gearing up to potentially cut you off, or at least ask questions. So certainly be on the lookout. Don't get paranoid, but be on the lookout and give us a call if you have any questions, if you're sensing something is wrong. Or if the investigator, it's obvious that they're doing what they're doing and they're being intrusive, they're not allowed to be, then again, give us a call. We can help you with that.
A lot of that stuff is a bit of an overreach sometimes, investigators, social media. What do you suggest to people for this particular point when it comes to social media? It used to be back in the day, go dark, just shut her down until you're back at work, but that's not reality anymore, right? I mean, people always put their shiny, happy selves on social media. It's never usually the negative stuff, but it doesn't mean you have to lock it down totally.
It doesn't mean that. I think that the most prudent thing I would tell somebody is, yes, lock it down. Not because you have something to hide, but because you just don't want to open yourself up to an inadvertent posting, which is innocent, which the insurance companies are going to, again, latch onto and use against you. Okay, you heard the phrase, anything you say can and will be used against you. All right. Anything you post can and will be used against you by an insurance company. It's just the way it is. It's the way they operate. So, if you go dark, obviously that is the best thing because you're locking them out. Or if you increase your privacy settings such that they can't reach, your profiles, okay, it's another thing. But if it's open and if you're going to be posting, just be cognizant of what you post. It could be completely innocent, but if you are saying that, you were out fishing last week and you caught this amazing fish and it was like, the biggest fish, in the area, and you fought with this fish for 3 hours, and you're telling the insurance company you can't go to work on Monday morning because you have all these pains in your body, well, I mean, there's a mismatch here. Yeah. The insurance company is going to ask questions. So, you want to make sure that if you don't go dark, that whatever it is you post, you are doing that with the view, understanding that the insurance company or somebody they've hired likely will have access to it somehow, and likely will look at it, and what are they going to derive from that information? What are they going to do? Is that going to be a problem for you? So just keep that in mind.
We are talking about 3 signs that your insurer is about to deny, or at least working on a denial of your benefits, your claim. Number 3 is they send you to their own doctors or for assessments, and it may be consultants that you've never even met or heard of before, right?
Exactly. Those are called independent medical examination, IMEs. They're anything but independent. When they ask you, when the insurance company asks you to go see one of their doctors, one of their experts, one of their assessors, they are essentially paying someone to assess your file. They are paying someone, and they've selected that individual for the purpose of looking at your claim and then giving them, the insurance company, an opinion generally as to whether or not you are able to go back to work or not, whether or not you are functionally able to try a return to work, a gradual return to work, etc. And again, they use the word independent. Misnomer. There's nothing independent about these individuals. I know some of these doctors, some of these assessors. I can tell you that they're not bad people, generally speaking, but they've been hired and are being paid by the insurance company to help the insurance company. And incidentally, I used to work for insurance companies. 20 years ago or so, I used to work for them. I selected some of these individuals, some of these assessors. I would ask people to go and see my client, the insurance company's doctor. And I did that because I was hoping that the doctor, back then again, I was helping the insurance company, that the doctor would come back with a report favorable to my client, the insurance company. So the reality is, if you are being asked to be seen by one of their doctors, one of their assessors, they are likely hoping to get an opinion that helps them stop your benefits, stop them from paying you benefits. And so if that happens, again, we can help you with that. We can tell you what you should do during those assessments, how you should act, what you should do after the assessment, getting a report, what you should do with your doctors to insulate yourself, to inoculate yourself against a potential bad opinion from those experts. But these things happen all the time, John. And yes, these are signals and signs that the insurance company may be gearing up to stop paying you, to stop paying your claim, to deny your claim. But it's not the end of the world. There are ways to combat that. There are ways to counter those kinds of moves by insurance companies. We do this all the time. And even if the worst case happens, you are denied your claim because of one of these things, we can help you fight the insurance company. We will take on that fight for you. You just need to reach out to us so we can help you and understand what the process is.
Just quickly, though, before we break, the IME, if you're told or it's requested that you show up to one, you got to go.
You got to go.
Yeah, okay.
You got to go. Now, there are limits there.
Right.
I mean,
Sure.
if they tell you to go somewhere 12 hours from where you live, we need to talk about that. If they're telling you to see a psychologist, for an IME, and then after that another psychologist because maybe they didn't get the right opinion or the opinion they wanted from the first one, there's limitations. But certainly, if they're asking you to see one of their assessors and it's the first time, let's say, you need to go. If you don't go, you may be in breach of your obligations under the policy.
If it's Greece, can I volunteer to go?
You have to. You have an obligation.
Then you're coming with me.
I'm
right.
coming with you.
We'll take a short break. We'll get into some email on the other side as we continue more of the Disability Law Show. Hang in there.
People think contractors aren't owed severance. EmploymentLawyer.ca says that is a myth. Many contractors are actually employees and are entitled to full severance pay. Always check with the employment lawyer first at EmploymentLawyer.ca. How do you force insurance companies to pay long-term disability claims?
Insurance companies deny legitimate claims all the time. They're playing the odds. They know that most people are just going to walk away.
Your insurer may ignore you, they may even ignore your doctors, but they can't ignore us.
We know how insurance companies work. We know their weaknesses. We know how to use the legal process to force them to pay you what you're owed.
Go to disabilityrights.ca. Discover your rights, fight back, and get what you're owed. People think you are only owed 2 weeks' pay when you lose your job. EmploymentLawyer.ca says that is a myth. You may be owed much more than 2 weeks per year. Don't settle for less. Always check with the employment lawyer first at EmploymentLawyer.ca.
All right, thank you so much for staying around through the break as we continue on here with the Disability Law Show. During, before, after, even reach out to Sivan and his team. The number, there's no charge for consultations, which is nice, right? 1-855-821-5900, help@disabilityrights.ca. That is the email address, and that's where we're going right now. Troy is the email for this week. Sivan, he says, I've been off work due to post-concussion syndrome. My LTD claim was denied and my appeal was also rejected. I collected EDI, but now it's exhausted, leaving me with no income. I'm waiting to hear back on my second appeal, but it feels hopeless, as it does. What can I do?
Again, we've talked about appeals before, John, and I want to really emphasize to people out there, look, if you are insistent on appealing a long-term disability denial, we can help you with that, but I don't recommend it. Certainly not before speaking with us, not the second appeal, not the first appeal, not any appeal. These appeals essentially are you re-asking the insurance company to reconsider their denial of your claim or the stoppage of benefits of your claim. And in my experience and the experience of many lawyers that I've talked to in my office and just colleagues of mine, these appeals rarely work because you are asking the same people, the same company that denied you in the first place, to reconsider their decision. Why would they? And sometimes, John, what they do is, they're smart about it. They'll say, give us more documentation and then we will reassess. So don't just ask us to reconsider, to appeal. give us more documentation. And so people think, okay, maybe I need to go to another expert, maybe another specialist, maybe someone else. Maybe I just have to go to my family doctor and get another report. And they do that, and they spend all this time, they spend money, they spend weeks and months trying to gather this information, appealing, thinking in good faith that the insurance company is going to look at this and really consider properly the appeal, only to get a rejection, a denial, which is crushing, absolutely crushing, not to mention financially devastating. And so I tell people, look, someone like Troy, the reality is that by the time you finish your second appeal, had you come to me when you were first denied your claim, I probably could have potentially resolved the claim for you. Listen, sometimes, and it happens, I'm telling you, I don't know, it's quite often actually that one of our lawyers in the office writes the insurance company in a case like this and say, we've been retained to pursue benefits legally owed to our client, that our client's entitled to, and we get a response back from the insurance company saying, hold on for a second, we're reconsidering everything. Oh, guess what? We made a mistake. We're going to put them back on claim.
Right.
You know, and it's because it's our name. It's because it's our letterhead. It's because insurance companies know us. It's because we've been doing this for so many years. We have so much expertise in the area and results for our clients. And so what I will tell you is that don't play along with the insurance company. Don't appeal these things before you speak with us. Don't give up on these claims. Let us explain your options to you. And generally, I'll tell you, if the legal option is available, the one that we go for, the one that this is our expertise, what we do, I'll tell you, that is so much more powerful as a weapon against insurance companies. And the reason for that is very simple. Two reasons. Number one, when we start a legal claim against the insurance company, they have to get a lawyer to defend it. Whether it's a lawyer they have in-house or a lawyer they have to hire externally, they are paying someone to deal with this now.
I don't like that.
And it's expensive. They don't like that. It means that they're bleeding money when they have to use their lawyers. So they don't like it, number one. Number two, once we start the legal process, we've taken it out of their hands. If we don't resolve the claim, if they don't pay our clients what our clients deserve, this is going to end up before a judge. A judge is going to make them pay a lot more potentially than otherwise they could have paid had they dealt with our clients reasonably. And so these are two fundamental reasons why the legal option is so much more powerful and why we've developed the reputation that we have with insurance companies across the country and with the public. And you can see that with our Google reviews. You can see that just generally with people with testimonials. So Troy, please, don't give up. Give me a call. Let's talk about your claim. Let's make sure you still have time to start the legal action. Remember, there are also time limitations, John, right? So we want to make sure we do things right now, yesterday if we can, and just make sure you get the benefits you're owed.
Let's get to Lillian quick here. She used mydisabilityquestions.com, which is a free and anonymous resource for you as well, mydisabilityquestions.com. After almost a year on long-term disability due to a chronic medical issue, my insurer has asked me to sign a letter to allow them to estimate my CPP payments, CPP disability payments. I haven't received an approval or denial from CPPD yet. What should I do here? Will a denial of my CPP impact my benefits?
Well, first of all, they don't need your approval to estimate the benefits that you are potentially owed. I think that what they want to do is they want to potentially deduct whatever CPP disability amount you are potentially owed by the government from what they're paying you in LTD. Because you're not allowed to get both, one on top of the other. But they can't do that. If you're denied CPP disability, it doesn't mean that your benefits are going to end with LTD. It also means that the insurance company cannot deduct the CPP disability amount because you've been denied by CPP disability. So, John, we can do a whole show on CPP disability, but again, if you have any questions about this kind of stuff, Lillian, other people, CPP disability, the interaction with that, with LTD, we are here to help you. Reach out to me directly, call, email, won't cost you anything to get this information.
Lillian, appreciate that. Thanks for that final email or final question anyway. That was mydisabilityquestions.com, a free and anonymous resource for you to use anytime. Other than that, always make the phone call to Sivan and his team. The consultations are free, 1-855-821-5900, and that email address, help@disabilityrights.ca. Thank you so much for joining us and tuning in for the half hour. We'll catch you next time on the Disability Law Show.
People think contractors aren't owed severance. EmploymentLawyer.ca says that is a myth. Many contractors are actually employees and are entitled to full severance pay. Always check with the employment lawyer first at EmploymentLawyer.ca.